Okay, hey everybody. It's Barbara Ann. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to go over this just really quick because I want to see what it is she's going to say today. As somebody who was a huge fan of hers for years, it was the death of Charlie Kirk that woke me up. Everything from September 11th, 2025 to now made me realize that Candace Owens is an elite. She's with a man that's allegedly worth over $250 million. She's projected to make over $6 million just since September 10th of 2025. Now she's got a small team, one being her husband and two people that help her, produce her show and the camera and editing and publish it, but she's not ever live. That's why she responds to comments from the previous episode's comments, because it's pre-recorded. It's uploaded to YouTube. It's published to go live at a certain time because you get more super chats, super stickers, gifts that way. But because I have a chest cold, I actually have to see my doctor in a few days here, but I want to see what she has to say.
The world's first titanium nonstick pan. It's going to blow your hair back. I'm Mike Regale, 3 Michelin chef, and I've been cooking for 25 years. You like that?
After this very intentional prayer and did my routine.
Here's what nobody's telling you about the new bearskin hoodie. This fleece is thick. It's made from 340 GS.
All right, you guys, happy Tuesday. Where to begin? Well, in the final days leading up to Charlie Kirk's assassination, Charlie was pretty busy, right? He went on a first-time trip to Asia, quite a quick trip, at least a quick turnaround to go first to Korea for a couple of days and then off to Japan. And honestly, if I was a conspirator... All right, you guys, happy Tuesday. Where to begin? Well, in the final days leading up to Charlie Kirk's assassination, Charlie was pretty busy, right? He went on a first...
Wasn't he busy all the time?
To Asia, quite a quick trip, at least a quick turnaround to go first to Korea for a couple of days and then off to Japan. And honestly, if I was a conspiracy theorist, and I kind of am one, I might think at this stage that the timing of that trip might have been intentional because something was going on back home they didn't want him to see. Well, what I'm about to tell you guys today is going to positively blow your mind. I just cannot see how this would lead to anything other.
Is it though? Is it going to blow my mind? Or are you just trying to gaslight and manipulate people that have a IQ equal to or lower than yours? Just asking questions.
That a full confession from the government about the military's involvement in his...
So she's expecting a full confession of the military involvement? I thought it was the feds. Yet people don't even know the basics of the case against Tyler James Robinson. Because it wasn't the feds that brought the case. It was Utah law enforcement. Because Charlie Kirk had friends that, are in the FBI. Like the FBI director Kash Patel, who was friends with him since before he was the FBI director. All they did was give their manpower and their resources to Utah law enforcement to apprehend the person responsible pretty quickly. And I'd say they successfully did that, right? Because he was apprehended, arrested, charged. He's going to trial. But she expects the military to make a full confession. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? How big-headed do you have to be? How much... Only somebody with a cluster B personality disorder, somebody that has narcissism, sociopathy, or psychopathy can do this kind of thing. It's so egregious, it's bad, because it's like nobody cares about her right to free speech. Nobody cares about her content as far as, talking about conspiracy theories, things that possibly could have happened, all these weird connections that don't really make sense. There's no proof or evidence, because legally, ethically, morally, if you're going to make a claim, you're the one legally, ethically, and morally that has to provide evidence to support your claim. You don't work backwards from the truth. That's so evil and backwards. You don't say, I can say anything I want. I can say Candace Owens helped the feds and her lawyer to kill Charlie Kirk. I could say that, right? But that's preposterous. And then I'll tell you, well, wait a minute. Prove me wrong. I don't have to prove that I'm right. You have to prove me that I'm wrong. What? Because lies aren't going to have proof. They're lies. They're made up. But the truth is going to have facts, evidence that's going to support it. If you're going to make the claim, back it up, right? She's all bark. She's all talk. Talk the talk, but she never walks the walk, right? That's Candace Owens. That's her modus operandi. That's what she does. That's what she does. And this is solely for one thing, for her show, for content, for views, for money, merchandise sales. Go to her website, buy a $150 signed book.
Assassination, but I'm just going to deliver the facts and see where they land. Well,
facts. Now that's a lie. That's a misrepresentation because things in your tip box aren't facts, right? Because she doesn't vet, corroborate, verify, fact check, double verify, any of those things. Not even do, any kind of checking of her sources, their background, who they are. And you certainly couldn't do that in just a day's time. But I told you, if she brings up Charlie Kirk not being buried, because if he's going to be buried in Phoenix, Arizona, or is he going to be buried outside of Chicago in Illinois by where his parents live? Probably he's in an unmarked place, presumably, because it can take a very long time for the ground to settle enough to even put a headstone on top of that. I know that firsthand. They could be building a mausoleum to protect his body and his remains from being desecrated. So he could be in an unmarked grave somewhere in Phoenix or in Illinois. We don't know. But I can guarantee you, if she brings that up, like I suspected and said yesterday, that she's likely going to start feeding into that conspiracy theory about, because if they're desecrating the graves of other people, what do you think they're going to do to Charlie Kirk? I mean, somebody hated him so much that they literally took his life. You don't think that there's more people that hated him? Look how many people celebrated him catching a bullet to his neck, as she so eloquently likes to put it. Those are the same people that would definitely desecrate his grave. So can you blame, Memorial, Find a Grave, and Legacy for not publishing that information? His parents, his wife have probably thought this through already. That's probably why at his public memorial, his casket and his body were not there. Because they don't want to risk anything like that happening. And that's his parents, his sisters, his wife, and his 2 babies' right. That's their right to not tell you where he's buried until they're able to do so appropriately, like actually making the provisions for a mausoleum to actually protect his remains, to make sure that nobody can desecrate them or get to them. And that could take a lot of money. It could take a lot of time before they're able to actually inter his body appropriately for people to then know.
Come back to Candace. I am just going to tell you guys exactly how everything came about, everything that I'm about to deliver to you. Yesterday was a holy day of obligation in the Catholic Church. It was the...
So what? Coming from the literal bitch who said that you're too smart to be a Protestant. You want to talk about corruption? How about talk about the hundreds of thousands of pedophiles within the Catholic Church? Oh, wait, I come from a very devout Catholic French family, but do I sit here and blame all Catholics or my grandparents or my parents, any other Catholic, for being a pedophile? No. Do I blame the Pope for that? No. Because pedophiles are attracted to positions of power everywhere, and proximity to children everywhere. Proximity to positions of power near children for a reason.
Feast of the Immaculate Conception. A day of obligation means that a day in which you are required to attend Mass
We know what obligation means.
outside of, obviously, typically Sundays. And so as soon as we concluded this podcast, grabbed my jacket and I ran out the door. Okay.
And all of these little details mean what? Mean what? All these little true details. Sociopaths love to do this. Psychopaths love to do this. When they're about to feed you something that they know is not 100% true, or they knew it is 100% a lie, or it's a fabrication, or it's made up, they love to give a little bit of these real true details that truly occurred, because it lends credibility and truth to the bullshit they're about to tell you. That's how they digest it in their own crazy brain. Sherry Papini, Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
And as I was sitting through Mass, deciding, I guess, what was on my mind to pray about, for whatever reason, got on my knees, and I was not expecting this to come out, but I just focused my prayer on wanting something to be delivered to me, a piece of evidence that would help us put together the full picture.
But we thought you had that, right? So you're admitting that you have been spitting a whole bunch of lies and bullshit conspiracy theories that are unfounded. They're unfounded for a reason. That's why they call them conspiracy theories and not real theories, because real theories do require you to have evidence and proof to back up why it's a theory. So now she's admitting that she's asking God for real proof to be delivered to her. Maybe the lack of that in the last 90 days is kind of your sign from God.
Of this assassination, obviously, we all know that what we are being told is not true. We all know that nothing.
That right there. We all know that what we're being told is not true. What part of what you're told by Utah law enforcement or the court system is not true?
That we have been presented with makes any practical sense.
What part doesn't make any practical sense? His trial has not happened yet. And look at the pattern of behavior. Crime always fits a pattern of behavior. 46 to 52 people die by a singular gun violence every day in the United States of America. Sometimes 22,000 a year, sometimes over 60,000 a year. Charlie's death fit a pattern of behavior that is very standard and normal in crime. A man is shot and killed because another man shoots and kills him. That's it. President Abraham Lincoln, President Garfield, President McKinley, JFK, Martin Luther King Jr., John Lennon, JFK's brother, Charlie Kirk. Notice a pattern of who the perpetrators are? They also fit a pattern of behavior. Young to middle-aged white men who don't align with that person's politics. And it's actually, you would think, oh, you have to be sick or mentally ill to commit a crime like that. That's not true. Less than 25% of all perpetrators of that kind of violence usually have some kind of mental disability or mental illness. So that's rarely the case. Not even about 1/4 of the time.
But there are sort of smoking guns in this that are missing, right? It's one thing to point out all the lies, but we need to also have solid, concrete proof of something that took place that was out of the ordinary.
What the fuck has she been doing all this? What the fuck has she been doing all of this time? She's admitting to you right now that she's been operating with no proof. No proof. You've attacked so many people, from telling his pastor, demanding that his pastor sit down and be silent and shut the fuck up. to attacking Turning Point USA because she doesn't believe without Charlie Kirk that Turning Point USA doesn't deserve to stand. Guess what, Candace Owens? You're not his wife. You're not his mother or father or sister. You're not his best friend. You're not his pastor. You're not his children. It's none of your fucking business. None of my fucking business. He left a blueprint for his wife, a will, a plan for her to take over. For her to continue on what he wants to continue on. As far as his nonprofit. And now it's in her hands. And you don't get to have a say. It's not yours to have a say. It wasn't yours to have a say when he was alive. And it's not yours to try to dismantle and destroy now that he's dead.
In the days leading up, maybe, I don't know, a planning session. Well, I got back home after this very intentional prayer and did my routine, had a very late dinner, went up and...
That right there, she is telling a little bit of truth in that, but her gaze aversion, her constant looking over, like you're going to find the answers on the ceiling or you're going to find the answers on a teleprompter. That is what happens when you have a high cognitive load and you really may be recounting things that are true, things that really have happened, but you know that there are pieces in there that you're about to say that aren't true. Because she's literally asking God for evidence to support her bold claims because she knows it's going to end bad for her.
Said goodnight to the kids, got myself ready for bed, sat in bed, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to open the tips box.
When she's telling you the truth, she can maintain eye contact. When she's not, she looks the gaze aversion. It's the high cognitive load. The subconscious, cannot keep up scanning for what it is she's trying to say and how she's trying to word it just the right way.
And I kid you not when I say that it's...
But that's the manipulation. That's the gaslighting. That's where that comes in. Because the words are designed a very specific way. And out of 178,000 English words, approximately, there's only so many she can constantly battle with. So many that she can pick. There's only so many I can pick.
Was the very first email that I saw, the very first email that I opened up. And it really didn't have any details. It was a young woman and she said, "You really should call my friend. It is absolutely urgent and he has information that you need to hear." And don't tell me why. I don't know what came over me, but maybe it was this intentional prayer. I said, I'm just going to call him right now.
Maybe it was this intentional prayer. So you're talking about your own deliberate choices, behaviors, actions, and you're going to try to lead people to believe that that's God divinely interfering.
Not even 5 minutes after this email hit my inbox, I was calling this person and I had no idea what it was going to lead to, whether it was going to be a totally insane person or whether or not it was going to be...
No, the totally insane person is the person that's on your end of the call. Okay, Candace?
A very swiftly answered prayer.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. You just need a concept. And
Yeah, don't care about ads, dude. Skip.
The person that I spoke with, his name is, or was, Harry.
Is or was? What, did Harry die in the last 20 hours that his name was Harry and now is not still is Harry? Because was is past tense, as if he's gone or dead. Did he die in the last 12 hours since you talked to him? What?
And he told me a story which I have since fact-checked various elements, the elements that I could fact-check, and...
Fact check. Only the various elements. See, confirmation bias. She only seeks out information that already tells her what she wants to see, know, or hear. But omits all of the stuff that she doesn't want you guys to know because it doesn't fit her narrative or her agenda. Or her conspiracy.
It's legit. This is a legit story that I'm about to share with you, and I want to say before I relay it,
Because before you tell a legit story, the first thing you're going to do is spend a whole 20 minutes telling somebody that it's a legit story. She literally thinks she is the mother of gaslighting and manipulation.
it's that
Have you ever wondered why she's so obsessed with psychology and psychiatry and manipulation tactics, MK Ultra, the CIA? Now, I know people say that she's a paid psyop. I mean, that could be why her attorneys share an office with the FBI, the DEA, the CIA. Could be why her lawyers are also tied to the Egyptian military planes, because they're also saying that she's paid by some Qatar or some Middle Eastern entity. Could be why they were on an Egyptian plane and went right to her lawyer's office where, I don't know, maybe Candace and the feds are working together.
the descriptions of the people are based off of his own memory.
Maybe she's an undercover federal operative. Paid opposition. Because social media is the new media, is the new mainstream media.
But the facts pertaining to where he was, whether he was where he says he was, for the reasons that he says that he was there, he is being honest. Okay? I can tell you that he is being 100% honest.
How do you know that? And why aren't we seeing that? We just have to see, this is how she gets you. You just have to trust her word. For somebody who never even was boots on the ground doing field work in Utah, never even flown there, to go talk to people within 48 hours, to actually get any of this evidence, to verify, fact check, nothing. She lives in Nashville, Tennessee. Like, how does she know? How would she know?
And you are free to look further into this. I am certain he is going to probably be doing a lot of interviews in the near future. I can also factually state that there was an incident report, so this was recorded, and what transpired on September 8th that caught him.
She likes to say transpired too much. Just say what happened. Because if it's the truth, it's just truthfully what occurred, what happened.
Him by surprise was something that he thought was a part of a broader military conspiracy against him. He could not fully comprehend why what was happening, okay? So let's start actually 35 years ago, because you need to know who this man is. In 1990, this young man named Harry Myers discovered something that would shape the next 3 decades of his life, okay? He was at the bottom of the military chain. He was just 20 years old, and he was put on what was actually a brand new command.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't even. Can we skip?
The Iran-Contra affair was from, I think, 1981 to 1986. Happened under Reagan, and for those...
Yeah, we know, we don't care.
And he ran in 1988, just a couple of years following that.
Yeah, don't care.
Your wallet sucks. That's why we invented the Ridge wallet. Hey, I'm Daniel, one of the founders of Ridge.
But it's turned off any compromised commanders.
Don't care.
Where the smugglers would start their illegal trip to the U.S. Authorities said when the tunnel wasn't being used for...
Yeah, we already know about this. Everybody has known about this.
Let's say we came over here with some technology trying to detect this. It would look like an underground stream if it was flooded.
Federal agents said the tunnel cost at least $1 million to build and had probably been in operation for 6 months to a year. Last November, customs agents received a tip that a sophisticated tunnel was being used to funnel cocaine into the United States.
This type of tunnel is not an amateur operation.
Yeah, I remember all of this. This
engineering.
What does it got to do with...
For taking the credit for the discovery. Somehow, in the immediate days after the bust, prior to the United States side getting the photos from the Mexican authorities, my information was given to the cartels. In continuing the mission, me and one Border Patrol agent were sent to Naco, Arizona, where I was approached by a cartel member confirming my identification by rattling off my mother's name, address, my high school, my friends, everything listed in my clearance packet, which was supposed to be locked in the custody of the Joint Task Force 6 commander, whose picture was with El Chapo and about to be discovered.
And what does this have to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk? All this mumbo jumbo, yeppity yep. Don't talk back. No.
We avoided being taken hostage or shot.
Okay, let's get to whatever the fuck it is she's trying to say.
This has to do with Charlie Kirk, okay?
I found it.
So I guess
found
in
it.
the sentence, a young military man did his job excellently. He accidentally stumbled upon, or actually, accidentally stumbled upon the fact that our government was implicated, not in fighting the cartels, but working with the cartels. And suddenly,
everybody's known that since the 80s.
He realizes...
I was born in 85.
...that the government then beats him, or somebody spitefully, perhaps his commander, fed him to the cartels, and now he's on the run for his life. What happens over the course of the next 35 years is he's hacked. He says that he goes through abusive litigation. He is harassed. He says there are narco attorneys that attack his credits. He has police records, by the way, for all of this. He has presented evidence for this.
So you get home late last night, you speak to this guy on the phone, and he just happened to have all this time to give you and show you all of the proof that you can read all of that, to verify and corroborate all of that, that he's got 35 years of police records and reports and legal litigation, and there's no fucking way. Even working from morning to night, all day, every day for 7 days, even I wouldn't be able to move that fast. And I'm pretty fast.
Throughout a certain point in time, these police records were virtually disappeared. He had been reporting that hitmen were coming after him. He had names. This is a 35 years long ordeal. He now has all of his paperwork thanks to some county clerks who did the right thing and were able to dig up these records. But you name it, this man has lived it throughout the last 35 years. Okay? Fast forward to May of 2025, May of this year, and Harry Myers, who now has a new name, by the way, which I'm not saying, but he is finally released from this 35-year military-grade NDA.
Oh, so he was under an NDA. I wonder why.
So what does this now 56-year-old decide to do? He decides that he's going to confront his past. He wants answers, okay? He wants to know why he was never protected. He wants to know if the FBI had been informed, and if so, which they were supposed to be, why they didn't do their job.
So what? What does it got to do? The FBI didn't even, they're not the ones that have jurisdiction over the homicide of Charlie Kirk. The indictment, I have it. The indictment literally, at the very top, tells you, Utah law enforcement. The feds did nothing but offer manpower and resources to work alongside to help apprehend Charlie Kirk's killer as soon as possible. They're not the ones who brought federal charges against Tyler James Robinson.
Why didn't they protect Harry? He was working for the military and he did his job. He makes up his mind that he's going to deal with this in person. He is going to travel.
Well, apparently he didn't do his job good enough. I mean, he was under an NDA, and then they were trying to do all this stuff to him. If he was doing his job really good, I don't know. There's something really fishy about this story. He wouldn't have had all this harassment happen to him.
From his home in Washington back down to the very base where this all began, right? To Fort Huachuca, in Arizona. He's going to revisit the past. He's going to get these answers.
Oh my God! Stop repeating.
Himself to stay in a hotel on the base, a military hotel, at approximately on September 8th, 5:37 p.m. Checks into the hotel, and you can imagine he's a person that pays a lot of attention to his surroundings, right?
Most people are.
When the cartels are after you and your family, and
but not for the last 35 years, though, right? What, do they just I mean, there's been so many different cartels that have taken over different territories and everything. So, what are you talking about? Which cartel? The Sinaloa cartel? Like, and then the guy's fine, perfectly fine. He made it to almost 60 successfully, so they couldn't have been after him that bad. Because, you know, what did she say before? If they want you dead, they're gonna kill you. They want you dead, you're gonna be dead before the rest of the world can blink, wake up, and see it hit the news. They're going to make it look like a suicide, make it look like a car exploded, make it look like your brake line just went bad.
You are compelled to change your name. You pay attention to your surroundings to see if anybody looks shady. What he notices is somebody who is special forces in the lobby. He said, you just know when you're dealing with a special forces guy.
No, you don't just know. You don't just know, because people don't know when they're lying, have a lying sociopathic, crazy idiot trying to sell them conspiracy theories because it gets more clicks and views. Just because you look like an innocent African-American small little woman who has kids. People don't automatically see the evil that you are. How can somebody just know that you're like special forces? Unless you have something on. And even then, people can wear whatever. People have impersonated police officers many times.
And he is in the...
I mean, she literally has her own audience buying CIA merchandise, mimicking the seal of the CIA.
Lobby, and a young woman, comes down after that young woman, who at the time he did not recognize, is with him. They kind of fluff around in the lobby while he's checking in. He's on the phone with his wife. And thereafter, the two of them get into a green pickup truck. And they drive off. Okay. The next morning, now we're September 9th, he wakes up at around 5:30 a.m. in the morning because he wants to see the sunrise. He says that he then fails at finding the Army Criminal Investigations Department. So he drives off base, just a little ways off base, to get some coffee in Sierra Vista.
You guys aren't buying this, are you?
While getting that coffee,
I believe that some of this was told to her, yeah, but...
he runs into some soldiers. Again, this is just all gone at this point.
I don't know. I mean, if you're seeking out soldiers and military records and FBI stuff, I mean, yeah, you're probably going to run into FBI or military or special forces. Especially if you're around a base. Have you ever been to a base? I live not far from Selfridge Air Base. My best friend, lifelong friend of 33 years, works at the Pentagon. My ex-father-in-law worked for NASA. He's the engineer. Still, even though he's been retired for many years, still under contract, can't say anything about what he did. Her father was military. Served at Selfridge Air Base. Have you ever been to or around a base? Did you grow up around one?
Happened to be wearing 10th Mountain Division patches. And he's like, that's my old unit. What's going on here? Like that, he thinks his unit's gone. Nothing's going on with this unit for a long time. That it's been torn apart, or I don't know what the military expression is for that. He strikes up a conversation with these young guys, and they
eradicated, dissolved, retired would maybe be the right words. Come on, Candace, you can't always use the same words. Compelling, transcribe.
tell him, oh, no. The old Joint Task Force 6 is now being continued, and it's known as JTF, Joint Task Force Southern Border. Now, for those of you who are like me who don't know, like literally what it sounds like, Joint Task Force, meaning like you can get the Army, Navy, everybody kind of working together on something.
Oh my God, just get to the damn point.
And they're like...
All right, let's get to the point.
About 12 lieutenant colonels. He tells me, you do not see that many people, that many E4s, E5s, E6s.
So she's trying to tie this to Charlie Kirk's assassination. How?
And he has gray hair, he's got glasses. I believe he said that he's about 5'10". Range flights that were taken.
I'm about to reveal a snoring fix that most women over 40 don't know. This is what your throat
I can't
looks like
even.
snoring.
taking place there. I did not notice anything helpful, other than the fact that the airport was not very crowded. So after 7 hours, he explains to me that they were going to, they debated holding him for 48 hours for this perceived, perhaps maybe bomb threat spy thing that's happening. And he's thinking, can you imagine this? They're paranoid, but he's paranoid and thinking, oh my gosh, this is more like Sinaloa cartel stuff, and I'm being treated like this. 6 years old. He had brown hair, the one I'm talking about that was leading the charge on asking him all the questions and interrogating him, and that his name was Captain Neff. I'm going. Now, I have the same question that you have, because I've looked, and it does seem that, and I never even questioned this, whether or not it's potential that Blake Neff has military connections as well. Okay.
I just turned to a page in the Bible. But about your people, for whose sake I am sorry, and for your inheritance, for whose cause I mourn, for Israel, for whom I am heavy, and for the seed of Jacob, for whose sake I am troubled. Therefore I will begin to pray before you, for myself and for them, for I see the failings of us who dwell in the land. But I have heard the swiftness of the judgment which is to come. Therefore hear my voice and understand my saying, and I will speak before you. Lord, you who remain forever, whose eyes are exalted, and whose chambers are in the air, whose throne is beyond measure, whose glory is beyond comprehension, before whom the army of angels stand trembling, at whose bidding they are changed to wind and fire, whose word is sure, and sayings constant, whose ordinance is strong, and commandment fearful, whose look dries up the depths, and whose indignation makes the mountains to melt away, and whose truth bears witness. Chew on that, Candace.
I guess that kind of like, I just thought this is a producer of Charlie Kirk show, but it is interesting that somebody, and this would be a brother, cousin, I don't know, this is the person that interrogated him, and eventually he says was a person that had a heart and realized that he was not a part of any spy network, and eventually escorted him off of the base and onto his way. That's a lot of coincidence for me. Now he says to me, communicated this to me very clearly, he said, Candace, I know how these meetings work. These are the meetings that are had ahead of an operation, like when an operation is being confirmed.
Where's the evidence and the proof of that, though? Stop talking, because words aren't proof. Words aren't evidence. This is gossip. This is manipulating with language, words, linguistics, whatever. If Candace Owens lost her voice box tomorrow, she'd be fucked out of a job. Because that's all she does is talk. Too much. She hides behind free speech, but free speech doesn't cover lies that amount to defamation, slander, harassment, bullying, cyberbullying, cyberstalking, stalking, threats, suicidal ideation, threats to harm other people, false allegations, intentional harm or distress or intimidation. And it also does not protect you from knowing when to fucking shut up.
You have these final meetings, and they involve all of the higher ups, and you are trying to do this in a very isolated location.
No, and what's that got to do with anything?
Okay. He said that this commander, Neff, by the way, was the commander of force protection. Best he could tell, he did not get the first name. He did get an incident number, which I should have had prepared for you, but I can find it here in our chat, because he sent me that too. He said there would have been no record for this if they didn't swarm me as if there was a bomb threat, because now, of course, there is an actual incident report, and he believes that this can be FOIA requested. And that
And why hasn't she done that first thing this morning? Because she probably would have already got something back from the records department already about getting that. So why hasn't she done that to prove her now claim? Because she's full of shit and she is lying.
Report number.
She wants somebody else to do her job for her.
This knife was Plan B. Now it's the best gift I've ever given. I was this close.
If you will bear with me, I'm going to read that to you all because I think this is going to take really the whole world to investigate. It is 8-6.
She wants the whole world to do her entire show scripted for her. And that's also how she manipulates you into believing you're a part of her community. That you're one with her, that you're on the side of truth and righteousness. The fuck you are. The fuck you are. When I started paying attention to what she says and what she does, I was blown away.
11 dash.
So why haven't you already requested it? You should have first thing this morning made that call and that email, and you would have already received it back by noon.
2025 dash MPC 446. So that is the report number that was given to him by this Captain Commander Neff. And like I said, he has given me I could have just put up documents upon documents certifying that he was there.
Then why aren't you showing them?
Certifying that this happened, whether or not his descriptions and whether or not the people that he thinks he actually saw at this base, I don't know.
Okay, you guys get it right. This is her MO. This is what she does. This is what she does. If you believe this shit, Lord fucking help you. And no, don't excuse my French. There's a reason why she has been embroiled in so many lawsuits and she's constantly, sue me, sue me, sue me. People have. Left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. But she learned in high school that she can easily sue somebody and get $37,550. She thought she was just going to move through life doing that. Suing and winning money, suing and winning money. Until she was having to pay out damages and back rent and lies. And she's so controversial that Australia won't even accept her. Yeah, if you believe this shit, Lord help you. But I'm not even going to bother watching the rest of this because I already know how it goes. And if she mentions Charlie Kirk not being buried in that whole thing, F you. Just F you. It's not your business. It's not your place. Not everything is. In fact, most of everything is not. Not my business, not my place. And how Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk's mother and father and sister, how they choose to bury their father, their son, their brother, their husband. Where, how, and how they're making provisions to protect his casket and corpse from being desecrated by many people who hate him because they hated him enough to kill him. Then Lord help you if you think. Lord literally help you. If you think it's your place to have a say over anything. But as far as this goes, no. So done with Candace Owens. That's why I left her fucking cult.